Katrina wasn't all failures. It wasn't a city full of helpless people. Okay, I think we can start in a couple of minutes, huh? Wow, look at this. We're going to clean this city up. I am beyond honored to be here, and Sam, a lot of these people here today are on my team, and by team, I'm not just talking about my bike racing team. I'm talking about people who were supporting me the whole way through the storm. I had everything from information being text message to my phone from my girlfriend, and from clandestine drops of food and water, and most importantly gasoline, and often contraband materials brought in like cold Coca-Cola and pepperoni pizza, tobacco to bribe the troops to get to one side of the town to the other. So it takes a team to do this, and I felt alone on the boat a lot of the time, but I was never lonely. I knew there were people on the outside helping me. So you put together an amazing exhibit here, and I know you're still in the works on this. These guys started with Greg Lambusi and John Menzer. They started this ball rolling the very first days after the floodwater subsided, and they've been working on this ever since. Every couple of months I would get a phone call, and they would tell me what was going on, and I just never imagined that the boat would be here where the submarine was. It's hard not to get emotional, I'm sorry. But I'll tell you quickly, they told me I have 3 minutes to talk to you, and obviously the person that told me I have 3 minutes has never heard one of my stories. But the boat started its history with Katrina the day after the floodwaters inundated the city. And there was a halfway house in uptown New Orleans, and there were recovering drug addicts in that house, and they decided that they weren't going to sit around and get rescued, that they were going to go out on their own missions and start rescuing people themselves. So it was those guys. They started down Napoleon Avenue, and it was those guys, and I want the press to get this clear, it was those guys that hot-wired the boat, not me. I had to fend off a lot of people from the boat that wanted it. It was a hot commodity, so it was the fastest boat in town. It was the only boat that was dependable, the one that ran. And every day when I was coming back up to the corner of St. Charles and Napoleon, I had dozens of people. The other boats, most of them had dozens of SWAT team members. So I guess I looked a little less intimidating than a SWAT team coming up to your house and having guns pointed at you. So I continued this work for another day and a half, and then I found myself surrounded by military personnel. And this big rough and gruff sergeant from the California National Guard, Sergeant Leo Boucher, he stood up and said, "Where you from, boy?" And I said, "I'm from Uptown." He said, "Where's Uptown?" I said, "You're standing in Uptown, Sergeant." And he had the same reaction. So he said, "We're taking your boat." I said, "That's fine." He said, "We're going to take you too." We were still pulling people out, very sick people, dying people, but it was absolutely one of the most rewarding times in my life, one of the things that I am most proud of, and I've done some things. And some ladies drove up in a car and were taking pictures of the boats, and there were about 25 boats on the corner there of Napoleon and Claiborne. And as they rolled up to us and snapped a picture of me, and one of them looks at me and says, "You know, it was a damn shame people were driving around in these boats and just joyriding them." And, you know, those words struck kind of hard, because I looked around and it looked like a party had gone on, because there were a couple of dozen beautiful white fishing boats and cabin cruisers and skiffs, and it looked like there was a party. So I grabbed my magic marker, and when you do get to see the backside of the boat, and you'll get to see the words that I wrote on it, and I wrote some words more like a letter of defiance to the rest of the world, that we are not a city of losers, we are not a city of helpless people, that given the right tools, and the right people and making the right decisions. And with the right team, we can do great things. So, Sam Reichert, thank you very much for putting this on. I'm honored more than you would ever know.
Again, thank all of you for joining us today. Please feel free to come up to the museum and see the preview. I'm pleased to invite all of you, as well as the media, to step closer and get out of the sun and come in and take a look at